I'm always ready. You just go, girl.
All right, Izo. So good to see you.
So nice to see you, Patricia. Thank you for inviting me for this nice conversation.
Oh my goodness, a million thanks, because it's not easy to get somebody of your stature to come on board, having the
What statue? Only statue I have is 2 meters and 3 centimeters. That's all what I have. If you think about that, then okay. If I'm maybe the tallest coach you ever had, then we go there, but nothing else. Please, thank you for taking your time to talk to me.
Yeah, I was so thrilled to have you come on, because I was reading some stuff. Of course, I kind of knew you, not really well, but knew you through Isabel first and then China,
yes.
right? But
yes.
then I got a sense very quickly that you and I kind of think alike as far as that mindset foundation and all that. You go to work there first and everything else would come with it. So that's why when I was thinking of like, who should I be talking and bringing this information and sharing the parents, I'm like, got it, Izo.
Thank you.
Yeah, so where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Split, Croatia, and everything kind of shifted to the pandemic with everybody. So I'm right now not traveling so much. I'm trying to build a base in Split, Croatia, because it has a great airport location. So people can come when they're coming in Europe. They have 2 flights here in Miami or 2 flights here in Hong Kong. So it's a great setup. And trying to do a little bit, I want to stay a little bit more home. So maybe 3-4 weeks home, then 2 weeks, 3 weeks traveling and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward. This is my new journey. So I'm actually learning along the way, and I kind of like it. It's exciting.
The power of goals. I remembered you and I had that conversation. Do you remember a few years ago what you told me? Actually, it was at the Open. It was at the Open.
Is it at Open? I remember.
Yep. You said you wanted eventually to have your own academy, be your own boss, and calling the shots.
No, not academy. Just I think academy, to build academy, it's a great deal. Because everything is about the staff and how I work, and still working with Alan Ma at Star River, and that's where I learned how difficult and hard it is to build a great team, and how much investment you need to put in education of the coaches and the passion of the coaches, and in building and helping them to find their purpose, why they're doing certain things. So right now, what I'm actually trying to do, actually also extension of a Star River in Europe, and also trying to, give my knowledge or whatever I'm trying, whatever I learned, try to give it to the locals and also to the pros or whoever wants to come and kind of do it. So actually expanding the Star River brand in Europe because of the pandemics and our inability to go to China. So, not academy. I think it's too far. I'm very happy to be part of the Star River, and also like this by myself, trying to figure out and build certain things home. So very excited.
I'm going to sign me up. Are you sending an application? Where do I send my application to? I'm so signing up.
You should, both of you, Eves and the kids should come here at least 2 weeks. You two enjoy the sun and the beach, and 2 of them can enjoy courts and the beach. So I think it's a pretty good combo.
Great plan. So you mentioned Star River, and I want to maybe elaborate a little bit of what Star River is, for our audience. You and I and Alan know what it is. So maybe go a little bit what Star River is.
No problem. Star River is a professional tennis club. It's not an academy. It's run by Alan Ma, who is a tennis professional already him, everybody know him. He worked in Florida for so many years with so many players, created such a tennis culture and a standard in coaching. And then he moved to China, started the same thing in China under the Star River, which is the main sponsor of the club. Actually, it's a hotel and development company, and we have around 15 to 20 coaches, physios, and stuff. And we working on 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 with the juniors who are trying to be pro and the pros. So it's based in Guangzhou in China, and right now We have around, I think at some point we have around 7, 8 top 100 players on WTA Tour. And then we have a range from 100 to 600, couple of players from 600 to 1,000. So, and it's a great place. Actually, I really loved it. And that's where I actually got myself a lot of mentors, including Alan and other colleagues, because the club has many different coaches from different parts of the world. And that's a philosophy of Alan Ma. Bring coaches with different philosophies, with the same goal, but different philosophy, because he believes that if we are only believing in one thing, once we have a problem, how are we going to solve it? So he really nourished the people to have their own philosophy, how they approach, but we are actually working together towards the goal. So it was a great experience for me for 5-6 years being there and seeing, okay, Italian coach working like this, Argentinian coach working like this, American coach working like this, Asian coach working like this. Chinese. So it was for me a very, very important part of my life, and I'm very, very glad that I became a part of a Star River club and still part of Star River. And this is how I see how the young coaches should take a leap. It's finding mentors and then shaping yourself, shaping your philosophy, saying, this is something that is good. Okay, how can I put this, into my philosophy? How can I make it, my own way? So I think that's what really Star River gave me. And I'm very, very grateful for that.
Well, now that you've mentioned that the program and for the young coaches to have the importance of having a mentor, I've seen programs and academies, all over the world throughout my tennis journey as a player and as a coach. I can tell you that through Isabel, because that's how she met you. Through Isabel, it was absolutely incredible to me how organized that program is, because it's very difficult when you have a group of players ranging from what to what, and of course that many coaches, and also secondly how every player was working hard. That's what I got. They were working hard, but had fun at the same time, working hard. And the kicker I got out of this whole thing, every time I call Isabel because of the time difference, and she'll be like, "Oh, Mom, I can't talk now. I'm going to get my massage." And I'm like, "Oh, life is tough over there." She's like, "Yeah, we trained from this hour to this hour, and then had and then the racket got strung, and then I got to see the doctor at this hour, and then I get to get a massage at this hour." I was like, it's all planned out for the players. They go up and work hard.
You're 100% right. And that signature of Alan Ma, that's not his job. It's his calling. It's his purpose. It's the person that lives 24/7. And that's what he also asked from his coaches, from his staff, and also from his players, to be devoted towards your calling. If you just see it for 2 hours a day, or you're just looking to get off the court and you do something else, then Star River is not a place for you. It's 24/7. It's a living thing, because you need to know, maybe someone in the morning got injured. So let's say, okay, maybe someone is tired. So we need to customize it. We need to see what's going on. And that's something that Star River really takes care. Just always, it's a live thing. It's not set in stone. Afternoon, it can change. Oh, we need to approach it. Then we have meetings at night, or meetings in the morning before the kids comes, and they're like, okay, what are we going to do today? How's Isabel doing? Okay, how's Johnny doing? What is happening with him? And we are trying, even if it's a group, it needs to be individual approach, because everybody is individual and they have a different path of where they're going. So that's something that I agree. Alan, really, like, once you come in, the driver is waiting for you. You come in, as soon as you get off court at 11:45 or 12, at 12:15, the lunch is ready. Everything is ordered. You just eat, you walk 5 minutes to the room, you take a rest, you come back, boom, the practice is ready. The fitness is ready. We just go, and then the dinner is ready. Okay, I got my racket strung. I need the specs on my racket. Massages at this time, fitness at this time. So it's a really full day program. So the students, the players can really be focused on being players. And our job as coaches or mentors, we need to make sure that they can be fully focused on giving their best, because it's not easy to go day in and day out on that hot sun at 2:30 afternoon. You just gave your best this morning and you still need to produce something. That's where you develop the grit. So We make sure that everything else is taken care of so they can put their hard work in, grit, perseverance, just all those qualities that you look from them when they need to go on the match. Yes. So like that, we are also, by organizing these things, we are teaching them about professionalism, because that's how it needs to be done. That's something we're going to talk about when you ask me the difference between juniors and pros. Yeah. So we can also talk about that.
Well, all this obviously sets, Star River apart from what I've seen from the other academy, because there are a lot for parents to choose from. It's just about every single day I would get email or text or phone calls from parents, which is the best academy to go to. And, and I have the sense that, so if one thing that really, what made us decide to repeatedly sent Isabel to Star River in China was I felt like the person came first. That was important to me. The person came first. I remember Isabel's very first visit there, and she didn't bring the right clothing there because sometimes it can get cold. So she showed up in shorts, and Alan was like, "What you doing in shorts?" She's like, "Yeah, I didn't have this and that." And the next thing you knew, he went somewhere and came back, and to keep her warm. So to me now, and I also understand if some Western parents, because culturally, I talk about that also. It's very culturally from Asia, from the Western world, from Europe. Because of the different culture, we have our way of raising our kids, or how we were raised. Okay.
Yep.
I know for some parents, or maybe even coaches watching us now, would be like, "Oh, they are so spoiled. Who would go and spoil these kids?" But it's not like that, right? At Star River, it's not about spoiling the kids. It's about, so you take over. What was that about?
It's not about spoiling them. It's about setting an example of what. So if you're as a coach, we need to be leading by example. And if you want to talk about being prepared, you need to show in your coaching that you are prepared for that day. If you want to talk about discipline, you need to show by your daily things and discipline. And we go from that. Michael Jordan didn't teach anybody basketball, but he inspired millions of people. So coach, our job is to inspire by actions and the things that we do daily, so they can replicate those things in their own work. So they need to know, okay, you will have a racket strong, you will have a massage, but it's their responsibility to do that daily. So we are actually getting new habit in, yes, and they're doing it day in and day out. So spoiling them is actually not showing them the way the pro thing need to be done. So how can you expect from the player to do the pro thing if we are not creating a pro environment? Absolutely. So our job is to create a pro environment, lead them and show them the way, so they can acquire a certain amount of repetition. So it becomes a habit. So it becomes automatically. So when they go in a tournament somewhere, they know they need a stronger racket, because that's what the pros do. They need to know that after a while, the string goes loose. So they need to know that they need to have at least 2 times or 1 time a physio a week. Because I go on these junior tournaments, I look at their racket, they look like spaghetti. I'm like, wow, what's happening out here? Are you aware that you really need to have a brand new racket, strings? What's your tension, how you feel the ball? Maybe it's cold, maybe it's warm, all these things. Do you need a physio? Oh, I don't need a physio. I do a massage once a week. So it just, all these habits are not there. So once they come to Star River, all these habits are set in place for them to do. And there's a lot of hard work. So that's the whole idea behind it. So we will give you all the environment where you can recover, get better, but your job is to leave everything on the tennis court, leave everything in the fitness room. Yeah. Right. So spoiling them would be not teaching them that, giving them easy way out, and just like expect from them to know that, no, it's our responsibility. It's my responsibility to show them the way. It's my job to explain them how the 24 hours should look like, right? How they will know. Yeah. So we do that for them. And trust me, There's no, there, with Alan Ma spoiling on the court, there's no way in hell that is happening. You can ask any player out there. Any player out there.
Oh, that is so cool. Show by what you do. Teach by what you do. That's exactly.
Teach by doing, not by talking. Coaching is not this. Coaching, everybody who opens a newspaper can coach. In Croatia, we have 4.5 million coaches because they just open a sports section and they're coaching. But coaching is doing. The best way to teach is to do. And repeatedly, not on Monday, not on Thursday, not on Sunday, but every day. And you forgot there's names for the days because it doesn't exist. That's your life. Yeah. This is what you do. This is your purpose. This is your craft. You're excited to go tomorrow and to get better. Yes, as a coach and as a player. And that's what needs to be together. Yeah.
Your calling for sure.
Yes.
Okay. So you've worked with many pro players.
Not many, but worked with few and seen few, you know, on the tour. Yes. So I would say I've seen few players. Yes. And I'm glad in Star River also. Yeah.
And the reason I said many players, because when you're on the tour, it's stressful, with just the events, it's stressful. So sometimes it feels like many players, and 1 year seems like 5 years. So share about of the pro players. So we're going to talk about pro players, and eventually we'll go into the juniors. So talk to me about the pro players. You work with different types of players. Obviously, it's not one size fits all type of coaching.
No.
You have to adapt with each player. Have you worked with, players from Asia, like Asian cultured players? Yes.
Yes.
And then, how did you adapt between your Asian players and your European players?
I believe people are people. And first, you need to get to know them. Everything, the way I coach is I'm finding out who you are, what are your beliefs, what is your identity, and who you want to become. Once I know that, then I can help you shape together with you the future who you want to become. Yes. And that's first job in coaching is listening. Before you can even, because the person needs to feel they're being heard. Once they feel they're being heard, then they lower the bridge of communication, because they feel like, you know what, you're listening to me, you understand who I am, you understand my point of view. Thank you very much. Let me hear what you have to say. So it's very important. Doesn't matter, European player or Asian player, you need to find out what makes them tick. Who's their role model? How they see themselves. And for sure, there's differences. There's differences between European coaching. Let's say in European, you have a lot of clubs. You have a lot of, also you have academies, but a lot of individualistic approach. Let's say in China, you have more provinces. You have provinces and people are, you're stuck with that province. And let's say if you don't have money, then you can't go anywhere because they're paying for you. Yes. They're paying for you. And sometimes you can get stuck in one size fit all. Yes. But now in Asia, I'll go in China and I'll give you an example. Men and women are different in China. Definitely Lina effect had a big boom. It showed, you know what, it can be done. You can do it. Yeah. China is opening more, and now you can see different personalities. You go from Q Wang, before that, Shuai Peng, you have now, you had at some moment, you have around 6-7 top 100 players from China, okay, inside the top 100. Sai Zhang from our play, Zhu Lin. You have people, they're forming personalities. And in my opinion, I didn't understand that, but somehow women were much more resilient to fight through suffering to make it to top 100. So I'm still wondering why men, are they so comfortable, or they are not willing, or they don't have a role model, or they really don't believe inside that they can be top 100. And that's why the men's side is still so much and so far behind from the women tennis in China. That's also, there's a difference in China between men and women and how they approach and how much they're willing to suffer on the court and try to do it over and over and over. So I really, really admire the women's side in China and how they are pushing themselves and trying to get better. And I see now we have more academies also in China, yes, and more foreign coaches are coming, mixing with Chinese coaches and trying to find the middle ground to help them and grow. Yeah. On the men's side, it's a little bit different. We are not seeing a breakthrough. Yes.
Not yet.
So we are not seeing a breakthrough. So on the European side, now it's changing also, because before you would say, oh, a player from China, oh, it just stays close to the line, does boom, 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 cross court down the line, it goes and simple, because it was before one size fit all, or people were not, but now you see it different, you see Sai, you see Q Wang, you see Yafan Wang, there's two youngsters, junior players who are coming also. So it's changed. Everything is kind of involving, especially in women tennis. Players are more creative. They are more professional. There's more money around it. Yes, we need to say also that now players are having their teams and stuff like that. So their kind of women's side is catching up definitely with the Europe and showing that it can go head to head with Europe, while men's side is still behind. Yeah. Yeah. So it's something, some part of the culture is missing. The tennis men culture is missing. Yeah. So that's something that I see.
In search for the answer for the men still. And it's interesting you said about the revolution of the tennis in the women's play in China, because I have seen the difference. I have.
Yes.
And yeah, because they used to be, like you said, they would hug that baseline and they will hit cross court all day long. They didn't have much varieties. They didn't have the drop shot. They didn't come in. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, throw a slice to Chinese. Yeah, that's it. But not anymore.
No,
not anymore.
Right.
Girls are going inside out forehand. There's a slice. There's a great serve, variety of the serves. They can go step back, lift the ball up. I mean, I think there's definitely a progression in that direction.
Oh, absolutely. I just finished the workshop last night. Every week I hold two workshops, two days of workshops for players. And yesterday we finished about the different game styles. And one of the questions, because I like to keep things simple, compartmentalize the games. I mean, you have your aggressive baseliner throughout it's like a tennis court, right? It doesn't matter what year you're in, what surface you're in, the diameters is the same. The measurement is still the same. So with tennis, like the aggressive baseliner, like think of like the Serena Williams type, or your counter puncher, like Nadal type, think of Nadal, or your all court, think of Federer. So in my time, so you compartmentalize, like, oh, this player is aggressive baseliner. Yes, I will make the rallies longer because she gets impatient or whatever. Yeah. You can't do that anymore, because it seems like this generation, they have all three. All three.
And they have a physical part.
Yes.
They have a physical part.
Yes.
And everybody's working on their head. Everybody's becoming, because stronger you get, more resilient you get right here, because it goes hand in hand.
Yes.
And people are developing now, people who are outside top 100. I mean, it's not easy anymore before top 32 seed at the Grand Slam. It. For sure, by the third round, they're winning 6-2, 6-2, 6-3, 6-2, 6-3, 6-3, max.
Yeah.
Max. Not anymore.
No.
Look at the draw. Look at the draw now in Roland Garros. This is, for me, by best time in women tennis, hands down. People, if you really want it, if you really committed, you can succeed and make miracles. I truly believe that.
Oh, absolutely. I like why I connect with you so much is because we both know that right here, it's where it starts. And, unfortunately, when a junior come and start showing that they like to play tennis, whether it's parents, I think it's a little bit of both. Parents and coaches, they focus 100%. Okay, let's go 80%, if not 100%, purely on ground strokes, purely on the technique and the tennis part instead. And they let the player, in my view anyways, they let the player off the hook with the attitude, with the mushy here, you know, and just showing up. And I put that responsibility on the coach,
Yeah.
because they let them off the hook too much. And worst, on top of that, the parents come in the minute that their kid is not hitting with this player. Oh, then they defend the kid. Instead of getting on the kid. Hey, you got to work hard. You got to show that you belong there.
You touch so many points right now that we can have probably another webinar just on this statement. I need a recording and listen and go break by break by break what you just said. And first part, let's talk about attitude. So what is attitude? Attitude is a body language. Attitude is affirmation. Attitude is the way you react after you lose a point, not after you win a point. After you win a point, after I win the lottery, I'm the happiest guy in the world. So doesn't matter. Yeah. So, and then we need to find tangibles for all those things. Not like after you leave a match, and we will talk about it because I love how you talk about fearless tennis, and I call it a tennis ID. You're not playing for result. You're playing for your tennis identity. Who you're going to be in 4 years, not who you're going to be ranked. Are you going to make a Grand Slam? Yeah, that's great. You're going to make a Grand Slam. But are you going to make a step after that junior Grand Slam? Did you develop all the habits, all the tools that are necessary for you to even enter into the pro world? Okay. So to go back on that issue is also a coach. As a coach, we need to learn to take responsibility for everything that happens on the tennis court. Why? Because if we don't show that it's our responsibility, how we can ask from the player to take responsibility for themselves on the match court? So if we see, oh, I will work on my attitude on the match. No, you don't work during the drill. So after you finish the drill, I want to see a chest up. I want to see, coach, can I get another ball? Okay, I want to see how you walk to the water. I want to see how you look at the string. Because you have 4 hours on the tennis court. Every minute matters between every shot, the way you walk to the bench, the way you take a towel, everything matters. You cannot just think about 3 shots that you made on the drill or 50 shots. It's the way you react between the drills that will set that body language, that will set that way you glow in the practice. Same thing will happen in the match. And then we go to another level, what you just started with, everybody's trying to avoid playing matches. And you know what I was talking to one coach here, actually, Nick, I'll also talk about him. And we came to the conclusion, when your name is being called to go on the match, let's say in Roland Garros, they call your name or whatever on the Grand Slams, you know how it is. That feeling that you get in the guts, that, oh my God, it's starting and it's going to be a crazy day. Well, that feeling you need to replicate the closest you can on every practice that you can. So we came to the conclusion that the closest you can get is by playing the match 2 out of 3 sets, at least 2 to 3 times in a week with the person who is right below you, not above you, because then you relax and you play okay tennis. No, right below you. So if you drop below your 8, this person will grab you and get you. And you don't want to lose against them because it's so uncomfortable. It's so somebody is going to talk and nobody cares. Nobody cares, my friend. So that's something that us as coaching, we need to lead by example. We need to push for those uncomfortable practices. We need to get you to play 2 out of 3 sets, not 3, let's finish the set. Yeah, that's great if we're practicing certain things, but we need to practice what you're going to do on Monday when you step on the practice. So if you didn't practice that and you come on Monday, you're going to choke up. Of course, why? Because you did not practice to be under pressure, uncomfortable, and constantly worrying what's going to happen next. Once you get rid of that and you say, you know what? Uncomfort there, pressure there. This is so hard there. Okay, those are thoughts that exist. My focus is where I'm going to put it, and then I go down. I'm going to put it on my tennis identity. I'm going to serve wide, go around my forehand on the first serve, 90%, and start dictating. Because you know what? If I do that, I will build myself up. I'll become a better tennis player who will win those matches because he became a better tennis player. And that's what you want to develop on practice, on the match, nonstop. Otherwise, you're just building something to fall. There's no grunts to it. It's just parents, everybody's nice. Yeah, we hit a couple of cross courts. It's all good. Yes, we're feeling great basket. Oh, yeah, baby. It's great. But you know what? It's BS. B with a big and S with big S. It's BS because you know what? Tennis is a gladiator sport. Tennis is a pressure. And you need to love it, my friend. You need to love it. It's 30-40 because it's your opportunity to grow. It's to show up and say, you know what? Let me see. You challenge me with the depth. I go deep back. Depth, deep back. Not drop shot and let me get quick or try and go for a winner from an uncomfortable position. No, that's bailing out.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to develop. We need to develop the competitive side of the player. And only way to be competitive is to be under pressure and loving it and going after your tennis ID. That's something, it's our responsibility. And if our practice doesn't look like that, then how the hell we can expect from the player to perform when the match comes? There's no way.
No. Keyword, love words, love to compete. Those are keywords because, for these, I see a lot of juniors and a lot of the pros as well, right? They play, obviously, the ones that can fight on the court are the ones that love to compete, not just looking at the winning and losing part. And that is the one thing that is so difficult to get it across for the players to not just understand literally, but to live it, every single day in their practice, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say the entire world knows what BS stands for, but I'm sure not everyone knows what I'm P stand for. Your philosophy.
There you go. You went to IMP, girl. Don't go there because we'll need 4 webinars for that.
Okay. I'm loving it.
I'll go quickly. So IMP came, I'm Possible Attitude, stands for changing perspective, inspiring people to change their perspective. So word impossible, when you look at it, stands for it's not possible. But once we lower the letter M, we get I am possible. So IMP is a lifestyle philosophy that is changing the state of mind. It helped me and it helps me daily because you know what? Life happens. And you know what? It happens every single day, not only on the tennis court, but in everything that you do. So I'm trying to change 2 words in the human dictionary. That's a problem and that's a failure. Not to change them, just see them a little differently. And when I say problem, I say opportunity. And people say, how is the opportunity when things are bad? Well, it's your opportunity who you can become to solve that problem. What kind of person, what kind of skills you need to get to solve the problem. That's your opportunity every single day. Conversation with your mom, conversation with your coach, on the tennis court. Who do you need to be? Do you need to become more patient? Do you need to listen? Do you need to work a little bit harder? Because those are all the skills that are making you better. And failing, what is actually failing? Failing is just trying. Failing is just trying. Because if you don't fail, you never try. You never try. And you need to not be afraid. Fail and fail miserably. Because once you get over yourself and you realize nobody cares, you're just going to start enjoying your life. And you know what? You're going to start growing. And once you start growing, you're just going to start attracting in your life everything that is around you. Just the mindset of IMP for me, and that's why I put it IMP attitude. That's what I saw people who are successful. People who are successful, they move from fixed mindset to the growth mindset. Not every time you make it. I mean, I have crappy days and I'm like, I become fixed mindset. But I say, Izo, snap out of it. What is really important? What is life right now trying to tell you? Okay, what can you learn from it? the quality of the questions you ask yourself will determine the quality of life in or whatever you do. And I thought before quality of the questions, I thought maybe some NASA questions I need to ask myself. No, it's the way you ask yourself the question, not asking yourself, why is this happening to me? Because you know what? Brain will find you a solution in 3 seconds. It will give you 50 things why the things are happening to you. But asking yourself, how can I make this better? You know what? Brain will do the same thing because it's a super computer, and you know that the best, and it will give you 50 options how to move forward. Life happens, accept it, but you know what? Take responsibility. Take your responsibility to change it for better. That's what we need to do.
That is so great. That is so great. So this is what I got from you. I'm possible. The moment you change the way you see things, you see change.
Yes, four habits. So I was researching for 5 years while I was working on the tour. I was always like, wow, why Halep is winning? Why? Because when I see our players playing with them on practice, it's okay. They're all equal. But once they go on the court, it's completely different. So it's the way they see themselves. It's the way they see their goals. It's the way they take action. Every point. Karo Wozniacki, the best example. She made out of her tennis the best career. I salute her. Heart like this. She knows the goal. She takes action every single time when she's on the court. She knows her patterns and she uses them. And then the third habit. So first habit is goals. All successful people, they know where they're going. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Okay. So first thing, when you're also working with a player, coach working with a player, see them who they are in the future. See them. You need to see them. You need to model them. And then you break them down to the first day of the practice. And that's the way you go and build a player because you know who they're going to become. And then it's easier to break down the steps. Yeah. So then second thing, take action. Massive action. Tony Robbins says it all the time. Massive action. Not a little bit. You know, junior player and pro player. You know what's the difference? Junior player lives tennis only 4 hours a day. Pro player lives it 24 hours. That's the difference. That's what they need to learn to live it 24 hours. That's why it's called professional, not semi-pro, not semi-amateur, not I'm on vacation, I like to play tennis. No, it's professional, okay? Then we go into the third habit. Once you took action and massive action, then you know what? You're going to fail. I promise you that. 100% you're going to fail. And that's where you use your superpower, which is called power of choice. Between action and reaction, there's space called power of choice. I decide what I give to people when they talk to me, to their words. Someone can insult you or opponent can be bad. You just brush it off and say, you choose how to react. You don't jump on those words and make them so emotional that in that state, you completely react differently and you take your moment, your match, your life, whatever, in completely different direction. But if you know where you're going and know you're taking action, you can say, okay, that's what happened. I know what I need to do. This is my game plan. This is how I act. Okay. My body language. Okay. This is what I want to do with the first shot. Doesn't matter what happened last time. Consistency. Success is small daily action over a period of time. Yes. So that's the power of choice. And we practice it many ways. One of the best ways is meditation. Meditation is one of the best ways to practice what? Strength of the focus. Because what you focus on is that what you see. Because, what's holding the focus is willpower, which is the fourth habit of willpower. So all successful people have enormous willpower, but didn't came to them God-given. It came to them because they work every single day. Your teeth didn't came because you brushed them 10 years ago. You're brushing them every morning and every night and probably a couple of more times during the day because you know what? That's what it takes to have a healthy teeth. Yeah. So that's the way to go. You cannot just have a good practice today and expect tomorrow you're going to play perfectly. No, tomorrow is going to be probably a crappy day and you're going to find the way. So willpower, you build through meditation. You block your night before you go to bed. You block your hour when you wake up. Because what? You need to first take care of yourself because before you can help anybody else. So let's say all the successful people have 1 hour in the morning They call the hour of power, whatever they want, sometimes 1 hour, sometimes half an hour, sometimes, but they wake up, they do a little exercise. Some of them do yoga, some of them do meditation, some of them do breathing. Okay, that's great for the body to get in center. Then a huge thing is gratitude. Yeah. Gratitude, Patricia. 3 things. It goes in a small book. I'm grateful. Boom. You put it. This, how long does it take? It's just a little bit. Few things to write down. What are you grateful that day? And 2, 3 things that you're going to do. Not 15, because you know what? You're not going to do 15 things, but you're going to do that one thing, that goal, that day that you're going to do. But to do all these habits, it's very important that first we build our identity. Same as a tennis player, you're building identity, okay? Because your goal should not be to write a book. Your goal should be to become a writer. You know that from James Clear, Atomic Habits, the best book, everybody, So I'm the attitude that actually what I want to do through Ampiated is share other people who are also fighting, going through stuff, and we are helping each other and just pointing each other already to the people who already mastered the things. So James Clear wrote an amazing book, Atomic Habits, how to change your identity. Once you change your identity, then your identity is driving your behavior. Yes. Right. And your behavior is building your future. Yes. So at the beginning, instead of saying, you know what, I want to lose 300 pounds, don't say, I want to be a fitness person. What a fitness person does, they go to the gym. So at the beginning, I will go 5 minutes to the gym. There was James even talked about it. 5 minutes, go for 4 weeks. But he said 5 minutes, 5 minutes. He goes in the gym, he lifts one thing, 5 minutes, get out. After 1 week, he's like, you know what, I'll stay 10 minutes. After 3 weeks, you know what, I'll stay 20 minutes. Because it became his identity. Yes? So that's the way to work into the habits and how to change identity. And let's go to the tennis professional. So what a tennis professional does, okay, so he stretches, he does prevention. So if you give them 45 minutes of prevention, they're going to say, oh my God, 45 minutes, there's no way. So you give them 10 minutes. You give them something. You need to give them the smallest thing that is easier to do than not to do. Right. Yes. And you connect them with other things and move away the things that are actually distracting them from it. Yes. So it's easier to do the things that is proper, and it's super hard to do the things that is actually not putting them in the right direction. So those are the things as a coach, you first need to find out who you're working with, who they want to be, what their paradigm is, what are their beliefs. Because if you're not changing their beliefs and their identity, you're not changing anything. You're just changing tennis shots. But what did you do with the tennis shots if the beliefs are still the same? If the identity is still the same, under the pressure, things will crack. So that's why we need to build first the mind, also tennis strokes and everything, but also we need to work on this. They need to become, my job as a coach is to move away from their life. That means that I'm building them as a people, self-sufficient people who can make decisions from coach toward the mentor, towards the friend. And we are going through this journey together. That's my job. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you obviously are very, perfect. That is so good. Like you said, we're going to have a few sessions. But this is fantastic because it's sad in a way for me when I speak with my players, not just my players, like players who, are seeking to play at a high performance, as well as the parents. Here's what they get it wrong, I feel. Mm-hmm. They are always looking for the happy days, for the good days, for the, champion days. And I'm saying to them, I get asked so many times, how many matches do I think is my greatest match? I can only fit in one hand. I was on the tour for 18 years. Okay, so what makes a difference for me was like the memorable matches are the ones that I was suffering so much. It's always how I overcome that. It's not even holding the trophy. It was those moments when I didn't think I could go on anymore. And I find a way and put that, breakthrough. I want to bring so much for these players and parents to understand. It's like doing push-ups, you know. The benefit is not if you're doing 50 push-ups, the benefit is not the first 20 fresh push-ups. It's the last 5 when you're dying and you don't feel like you can go on anymore, but you will yourself and pass through that last 5. That's where the core is, but it's very difficult for them to embrace that.
Great. I believe whatever you said, that's 100%. And to explain them why they need to suffer, why suffering is necessary, is I like to take them to step back and first acknowledge that we are a team. And what I mean by that is because I want to first them to understand that, let's say, we'll talk about your daughter, Isabel. Okay. So I say, Isabel, you as a person are great, smart, hardworking, empathetic. You're driven. Okay. You win or lose, that does not change how I see you. So what is very important is you as Isabel and me as a coach will work on Isabel as a tennis player. And now they're like, oh, wow, because a lot of them are not enjoying suffering because they are going to be judged of who they are.
Right.
So it's very important as a coach to help them separate who they are and who are they as a tennis player are two different things.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to coach them because I'm not coaching them. We are coaching them together.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important to build them and to make sure they understand who they are as a person. And then together we are working on a tennis, because once you finish the match, we need to sit down and say, you know what, Isabel, at 4-4, 30, 40, we should go for the kick serve, for the first serve. We should not, whatever. And then she said, you know what, coach, you're right. I went to do that. And so now she's like, wow, she's separated. She's separated. And she's talking about a tennis player from her perspective. She knows who she is.
Yeah.
And that's why it's very important when working with players to first create them as an identity, as a person. That's why we say person number one. And then together as a team, we're building a tennis player. And then it's so much more fun because and us as a coaching, we need to learn the discipline. There needs to be zones. Once we leave a tennis court, when we're in a restaurant, we're in a restaurant. We cannot bring business in a restaurant because then they feel attacked again and they hate it. That's why they hate to sit down with the parents in the car because they feel trapped. They're like, my God, we're going to travel for 2 hours. You're going to kill me for 2 more hours. I want to die. Let me take a plane. I'll pay for it. Okay. That's why it's so hard because coaches and parents, we need to be disciplined. This is where we show discipline, because if we can show them that we can talk about tennis and then boom, it's okay. We go eat. Most important thing, what we going to eat? Oh, that sushi is so great. And they're like, oh, wow, tennis is there. We talked about it. And now it's me, Isabel, and coach, we're going to go eat. And we talk about life. And us as a coaches, we need to practice that. That's when they're going to be feeling together. And then they need to go to suffer because they know the tennis player is suffering. Identity, who they are as a people, will never change. They win or lose. Yes. So for me, that's super, super important.
Well, you know what? You definitely got something there and you're going to love this. So when Isabel and my son, Justin, whom you've not met, one day you will.
No.
So when they were younger, when they started playing tournaments, they come off the court, regardless of win or lose. Of course, we'll talk about it quickly if they're not too upset, of course, but when we're off that tennis court, before we go home, I always made a point of stopping by the zoo, because we're now just hanging out, mom and kids, at the zoo, and a much more pleasurable moment. I really believe that because I did it on purpose to separate the two, like you said, that they're more open in discussing their tennis, because I'm not forcing them to. We're done with tennis. Now we're just being people. You are my kids, I'm your mom, and we're going to have fun. That's it. So if you're okay with this, Izo, because we have we had three things that we really were supposed to talk about, but we just got, it was such wonderful tips and, you know, your point of view and philosophy. If it's okay with you that we can have a second chat.
I would love to. And I was going just to tell you, do you know how I came up with this thing that we just talked about? Because I was the worst one. I would kill them after. I would talk to them. I mean, and that's what ruins actually coaching. Actually ruins coaching. And then you realize, okay, that's why this is, so all these things that I came up is actually my mistakes. And my mistakes that are actually, you can only do if you try and you fail and you learn from them, you adapt and you say, you know what, this is working. This is not working. Oh, Izo, you should be here better. And now I see it from a different, and that's why it's a never ending process. And that's why we need to stay humble more than ever. More we learn, less we know, because we are opening a new door, and every single experience, that's why I love tennis, can teach us something new. And we can learn from everybody. And that's how I see it. So I would love to, whenever, whatever, I love talking to you, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for spending the time, and I am going to send you this recording, and of course I'm going to listen to this recording like I always do. I'm still a student of my work. I listen to it just like you said. Oh, maybe I should have said that, or maybe I should have said that more.
You're doing great. I love it. I love it. I love it. I feel so comfortable talking to you. So it's so good. I'm looking forward for more anytime.
Okay. Perfect. So until we speak next time, which is going to be soon, you take care of yourself, and best of luck with your endeavor. Yes, with the adventure. Yes. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You speak so.
Take care.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.